I sent our reporters, Staff Sergeant Joe Biggs and Jakari Jackson, as well as our cameraman Josh Owens, to Ferguson, Missouri, a suburb of St. Louis. And just incredible video up on Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com of tear gas, riot police, helicopters, you name it. And they also had live stream that was sent out as well last night. We're going to be playing some of those videos here today. And Jakari Jackson will be joining us with Joe Biggs coming up at the bottom of the hour. Federal snitch is on the scene, stirring up race baiting as usual. Al Sharpton, he got confronted in Ferguson, Missouri by reporters. Continuing, FAA issues flight restriction after rioters fire multiple times at police helicopter. Police reportedly confronting 4 men with ski masks and shotguns. Another 20 people had a gun pulled on them, they say. And so they shot the suspect who's now dead. That's what happened in the early morning hours while reporters on the ground. Gun sales are up across that area of Missouri in fears of wide-scale intensified rioting. Jesse Jackson went on to say that there's a Ferguson near you, and that is my concern, that Obama could use tragedies like this, along with Al Sharpton and others, to change the subject from the globalists destroying this country to the controlled demolition of the republic. They could change the subject from that and move it over into other issues like the ongoing racial and class division in this country. Anonymous has released the names, address of wife and children of St. Louis County Police Chief. I don't think you should ever bring people's children into things. Also, again, that dovetails with the police saying they won't release the name of the officer who reportedly started all of this whenever the 18-year-old black man was shot, they claim, in a scuffle inside the police car, but haven't shown the evidence. And the crowds of people claim that during the altercation, it was the police that shot the man who had his hands in the air. And I'd love to give the police the benefit of the doubt, but historically, we see so much covering of the booty by different government agencies and such a history of lying, especially at the higher levels, that I can't blame people for not believing it. Separately, obviously, you can't go around burning down buildings for no reason as your protest and stealing liquor. So that discredits the whole thing right there. So this situation is continuing to escalate with more riots and looting basically overnight. We've got a lot of open border news where the judges are basically legalizing the illegals that will show up to the immigration hearings. Most of the illegals simply just don't even show up to those. So I have a big stack of news on that front. Also, a weird coincidence, Robin Williams' Family Guide suicide episode aired before news of the actor's death the same night. Shocking TV viewers. That story's up on DrudgeReport.com. It's an Infowars.com article by Paul Joseph Watson. Member of Parliament claims Ebola virus has already arrived in France as governments prepare for possible pandemic, and the Pope approves airstrikes. While ISIS, Al-Qaeda forces murder hundreds of thousands across Syria and Iraq, over 300,000+ in the last 4 years in Syria, everyone is freaking out over one dead 18-year-old man in Ferguson, a suburb of St. Louis, Missouri. And police have now shot and critically wounded another suspect near Ferguson when they claim they engaged 4 men wearing ski masks with shotguns with a crowd of 20, and then one of the men pulled a handgun, so they shot him. And you've got the White House, FBI, Justice Department technicians there in the middle of it, like Al Sharpton, trying to stir things up. I saw the video that's up on Infowars.com of Al Sharpton, where you get to see his whole body as he's walking with a woman holding his hand, guiding him in. There's a reason he looks like a reanimated corpse. Obviously, Al Sharpton is not in good health. We're showing some of the video now if you're watching us on the TV streams at Infowars.com/show. But when he turns and walks, you can see him from the side. He looks like, a zombie from a movie or something. But the issue here is that the dollar's being devalued globally. Gold is starting to go back up a little bit. You've got major destabilization operations going on all over the planet. You've got arms races starting between China and Japan. You've got China threatening to invade different islands off the coast of Japan and the Philippines and threatening nuclear war if the U.S. intervenes. You've got NATO overthrowing Ukraine and major fighting and war intensifying over there. We've got a member of parliament claiming Ebola virus has arrived in France. India moles moving to the ruble for Russia trade and leaving the dollar. You add that together with all these other countries that are doing it, like China and Iran and Brazil and so many others. This is the globalists maneuvering us towards the end of the dollar to bring in their new global SDR. So that's some of the news we're going to be breaking down today. The Vatican has approved of Obama airstrikes against IS, and I have approved of those as well. It says in a rare move, the Vatican has said that they have to have intervention to save the Christians that are being slaughtered. The problem is no one's bombing ISIS to stop the killing of Christians. ISIS was created and set up in Syria and mainly does kill Christians. That's incontrovertible fact. 300,000+ dead, at least 200,000 of them Christians. Al-Qaeda renaming itself ISIS and then IS to confuse TV viewers, to confuse Americans who are starting to wake up to this. If they find a Christian, they kill them. If they find a Jew, they kill them. When there's a real hijacking of an airplane, they kill the Christians and the Jews first. And I know it's cause celeb out there and really trendy to just hate Jews, period. If you fall on a banana peel, Jews did it. I understand that's the big trendy Hollywood thing. My only issue is that's part of the radicalization and why you can't expect Israel to do peace deals when the common denominator in the Middle East is kill every Jew you find. Well, let's just move Jews off the table with all the trendies out there. We understand you want them dead. What about Christians who are doing nothing to anybody and aren't involved in Palestine and Gaza and the rest of it? What about, I understand. It's not a cause celeb to talk about that because precious radical Muslims are doing it, and you can't say that there's any Muslim on earth that is an extremist. They're all perfect, right? That's the political correctness, correct? Vatican approves airstrike despite peace policy. Military action might be necessary, says Vatican ambassador, United Nations. Fearing a genocide of Christians, the Vatican has given its approval to U.S. military airstrikes in Iraq, a rare exception to its policy of peaceful conflict resolution. The Holy See's ambassador to the United Nations this weekend supported U.S. airstrikes aimed at halting the advance of Sunni Islamic State, IS militants, calling for intervention now before it's too late. And that action might be necessary. The Vatican vocally disapproved of U.S.-led campaign in Iraq in 2003 and the 2013 plan for strikes in Syria. And again, I'm not a Vatican file. I'm not even Catholic. But when I see something good going on, I got to tell you, I see it as good. I think it's good that the Vatican was against attacking Libya, Syria, and the 2003 debacle, which has killed hundreds of thousands more Iraqis any way you look at it. And I'm against starting a war with Russia. The Vatican's against that. I'm against starting a war with Syria and turning it over to Al-Qaeda. The Vatican's against that. Now, the Vatican promotes world government, the EU, and pantheistic stuff now, which is very bad, and I criticize that. But see, I don't just criticize people whole hog or praise them whole hog. When something's good, we point it out. You do not hear the mainline churches, Protestant, evangelical, you name it, in the United States, criticizing the mass murder of Christians worldwide. There is zero solidarity as Christians are killed in Asia, Central Asia, the Middle East, Orthodox being killed in Eastern Europe. You're hearing zero. Africa, you name it, out of all these glitter bugs. And meanwhile, the Catholic Church, along with the other faith-based state-run media and state-run religion here in the U.S., is trying to bust the borders wide open and legalize all the illegals at taxpayers' expense. And the Catholic Church and others are getting up to $6,000 or $2,000 for each person, but they do it in $6,000 to $7,000 groups. That's just how they do it for each group of 3 youth that are being stored. So they're making money off of it. That's why I'm against state-run religion, because I don't want to bankroll religion with my tax money. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof. And so the Southern Baptist Convention and the Vatican have no business getting taxpayer money, period, to bus illegals around the country or to be paid to keep them and to make money off of it. I mean, it's illegal for the churches to be involved in human smuggling to begin with. The ancient argument is sanctuary, though, that predates the First Amendment, that if somebody ran into the cathedral and the church gave the person sanctuary, the king couldn't even get them out of there, a.k.a. the famous literary work of The Hunchback of Notre Dame. Sanctuary, sanctuary. There's the headline. This Baptist charity is being paid hundreds of millions to shelter child migrants. Time magazine. See, it's disgusting. So when I criticize the Baptists or the Catholics for being state-run and helping destroy the country, I don't do it out of hatred of Baptists or hatred of Catholics. It's not some bigoted religious war. It's I don't like you using my tax money to wreck my country. And it's against the law what you're doing. So, see, I go off and do compliment with one hand and attack with the other. That's how my brain works. I really try to know the policies. I really try to know how stuff works. And I'm sick of the Catholic Church promoting gun control in this country. I'm going to throw up. The Pope's got Swiss guards and private security with submachine guns and a Pope mobile. Do I get one of those? No, I don't. It's my job to protect my family. So now I'm going to go off into a bashing of the Vatican, jag. Because I just got to be honest about everything. That's what I do. Israel's doing some stuff that's wrong. The Palestinians are doing some stuff that's wrong. But I don't hear a word out of the Palestinians, who always arrogantly send me emails that I should, call for the destruction of Israel, when I'm not hearing jack squat out of you about the Christians. How about I hear something out of you about Christians that aren't doing anything to you and have been there for thousands of years before Muhammad showed up? How about I hear from Muslims about not killing Christians if you're not radical? How about that? How about I hear about you criticizing IS? No, I'm getting threatened by IS websites that are allowed to operate on Twitter and Facebook, as if threatening me is going to do something. I'm more stubborn than a mule. I'm not going anywhere. By the way, my dad sent me a screenshot this morning, and I've already been confirming. We're getting tons of emails. We need to collate all those, do an article for Infowars.com, because we need your help, folks, or the enemy's going to win. When they attack us, they attack you. Facebook lets us operate our 7 or 8. What's more than that? We got like 8 big Facebooks with 3 million likes. One of them has like 800,000, the biggest. They're not letting most people get our information. They're blocking it. And when other people post our videos, they're getting messages saying this is inappropriate hate and threatening to suspend their accounts. So they want to do this secret censorship under the radar. Go to Infowars.com, folks. Get all our articles every day and hammer Facebook with them. That's how we'll expose their censorship, is by smoking them out. Kit Daniels walked up to me during the break, one of our reporters, and said, Alex, I tried to share last night at like midnight our videos of the riot police and helicopters and tear gas with our reporters, the live feeds that had then been archived. He tried to share those videos in an article on Facebook, and it said, no, you're not allowed to share this on our official big Facebook with 800,000+ followers. And we're just getting emails pouring in about folks that aren't able to share information. But it's Second Amendment info, or it's riot info, or it's police info. And I meant to cover this more yesterday. Will you guys pull it out of the stack? The big headline that the bill is now passed in California to make all cell phone manufacturers have police and governmental commandeering kill switches in them so they can turn off your phones whenever they want. Now, this software is already in most phones, but now that it's the law and California is the biggest market, this will force globally this to be adopted. There's the headline: Kill switch smartphone bill passes in California. Remember I told you 6-7 years ago the plan was to allow music venues, you name it, to have a kill switch so you can't videotape the music. That was the excuse. And Apple already put that on all their new phones. Droid already has it. Now they're just passing laws to then next say it's illegal to have a cell phone working. This is how draconian and authoritarian and totalitarian things are getting, that people pretty soon won't even, most folks won't even have cameras. Or the new cameras that are coming out, I've been to Best Buy, are wireless, have an internet chip in them, and have GPS. And the camera's like $250 and it's 20 megapixel. And then I'm like, well, let me get something cheaper. Oh, sorry, they all have GPS now and a chip. So I looked at the owner's manual, looked it up online a few months ago, and I was looking at cameras for the office, some smaller ones, so we'd have some side units. So all the reporters could carry them with them at all times, even when they're off work, because that's when you tend to catch stuff. And I looked it up, and basically everything, not just your thermostat or your dishwasher or your smartphone, everything's having the smart technology put in it where they'll just kill everything. They put a code in with all these police wireless networks that Homeland Security's paid for, and it shuts everything down. This is the premeditated, criminal, totalitarian takeover. And speaking of that, it's up on Infowars.com. William Binney, number 4 at the NSA, who was on the show 2 weeks ago, saying that it's a total police state takeover of America and the world to end freedom. Now Snowden has come out, Steve Watson article, Infowars.com. There's a holy bleep moment, smoking gun revelation coming. Whistleblower says government believes he has information that would be the death of them all politically. Well, let me tell you, if he's a real high-level leaker, because a lot of what he's put out was already known, if this is all for real on the up and up, it isn't a deep-level psyop, and I'm not saying it is. I think Snowden's probably real. If this is the real deal, we know what it is. The government runs the narcotics. The government runs Al-Qaeda. The government runs the child kidnapping rings. The criminal group above the government does. They launder all the money. They ship the arms everywhere. We already have Sibel Edmonds, who was the NSA FBI liaison, Arabic translator, up till 9/11 with them commanding Al-Qaeda, communicating with Osama bin Laden, ordering stand-downs, shipping drugs, shipping children, shipping weapons. Right next to compartmentalized FBI and CIA, who are white hats, who don't know this is going on and are the PR front responding to kidnappings that aren't government run. I mean, folks, DynCorp's been caught with aircraft in Houston, Texas, and Belgrade, and you name it. They've been caught in Serbia. They've been caught in the Texas. They've been caught everywhere with planes full of 3-year-old kids. I mean, just look it up in the news. I mean, literally UN forces. Their pure satanic evil runs the country and the world, okay? Now, they don't have full control of the police and military yet, so they have to act like, oh, these are kooky people. They had Time Magazine come out and attack us for connecting IS to NATO, the U.S., Israel, and others, when Netanyahu's on record saying ISIS is helpfully destabilizing the Middle East, and our government's on record with Saudi Arabia arming them. See, they call it a hoax in their article. No, they're the hoax. They're the hoax, and our military knows that. The globalist social engineers are not just targeting us with propaganda. They are manipulating our genetics. We are being targeted at every level by estrogen mimickers that lower our testosterone and other hormones and natural compounds that the body needs. After consulting top doctors, nutritionists, pharmacists, and others, we have developed what I believe is the ultimate non-GMO organic super male vitality formula sourced from powerful organic herbs and then concentrated for maximum potency. Super Male Vitality was developed to activate your body's own natural processes instead of using synthetic chemicals. Super Male Vitality by InfoWars Life is so powerful that I only take half the recommended dose. For a limited time, we are offering 15% off Super Male Vitality at InfoWarsLife.com to introduce you to this powerful supplement. Visit InfoWarsLife.com today to secure your Super Male Vitality. InfoWarsLife.com.